The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, just wanted to get my thoughts on what happened, with this fight tonight. First of all, let me first start off by saying respect to both fighters on both sides of the ring. Jermell Charlo, Brian Castano, they put on one of the best fights I've seen in a long time. And, not too long ago, I wanted to leave YouTube. I wanted to just say I'm done with boxing. I don't want to cover this sport no more. And this is the kind of fight that, honestly, it's almost like reignited my love for boxing. So shout out to those guys for putting on a great show tonight. Jermell Charlo got up to a very slow start. Castano did a great job pressing the action. He was able to cut that ring off. He was able to make Jermell Charlo fight off the ropes a lot, which in most cases was to the advantage of Castano, with the exception of the second round where Charlo caught him with a good counter left hook. Castano did a good job of chopping that body, finding holes around the guard, throwing good straight right hands up to the head. And I'll be honest with you, the first 7, 8 rounds of this fight, 9 rounds of this fight, Brian Castano reminded me of one of my favorite fighters, of all time. Anybody who knows me knows that this guy is truly one of my favorite fighters. And that's the old welterweight champion in the 1980s. Guy they used to call the Magic Man. And I'm not talking Paulie Malignaggi. I ain't talking about no Antonio Tarver. No, I'm talking about Hartford, Connecticut's very own Marlon Starlin. That's who Brian Castano reminded me of. He reminded me of Marlon Starlin. The way he was, blocking and picking off shots in the high guard, the way he was just lining up Charlo with straight right hand after straight right hand. It was just a clinic, an absolute clinic in pressure fighting, intelligent pressure fighting, and just defensive responsibility. Just a complete performance from Castano. Charlo, look, he really left a lot to be desired with his performance tonight. But even in a bad performance, and this is how you know Jamel is a fantastic fighter in his own right. Jamel, even with having, in my opinion, one of his worst performances he's had in the last couple fights, he was still able to show himself to be dangerous for all 12 rounds. He had Castano out on his feet, hurt, and holding on for dear life in the 10th round. I almost got my prediction dead accurate. I said Charlo 10th round stoppage. He had him hurt. He couldn't quite finish it. But, Charlo deserves credit because Charlo has been showing on a consistent basis recently with his run at 154. He's willing to fight the best fighters out there. And he put it on the line tonight, and I can't get mad at him. But honestly, look, this scoring, I had a feeling that the scoring was going to be bad tonight because boxing, when you really been around boxing long enough and you see how corruption works, you start to pick up on certain things even before they happen. So like I remember tonight when they announced the judges, they had Steve Weisfeld, they had another judge whose name I can't remember that normally does fights, and they had Nelson, I think his name was Nelson Vasquez. He was the guy who had that piss poor 117, 111 scorecard. 111 scorecard for Jermell Charlo, And traditionally, in the past, like, whenever you see bad scorecards, they always bring a judge you've never heard of for these fights. Don King used to do this back in the day. He did this in the first Holyfield versus Lennox Lewis fight when they scored that a draw. And the person that scored had a bad scorecard. They never had a judge fight before then, and they never judged the fight after then. They just were there for that fight, and they're paid to do the job and score the fight for whoever they scored it for. And it's the same thing tonight. Horrible scorecard. No way in hell did Jermell Charlo win 9 rounds because the motherfucker lost damn near 9 rounds. I scored it 116, 112, 8 rounds to 4 for Brian Castano. And it really put a damper on what was probably what was the fight of the year. I mean, I think this fight might be the fight of the year. I mean, it gave Tito Estrada, the rematch, a great run for its money, but it was a damn great fight because there were just so many twists and turns. Charlo had this aura of invincibility with the way he's been dealing with guys like Tony Harrison and Rosario, and in the past with Lubin. And Castano, while a good fighter in his own right, had great amateur exploits. Castano wasn't just beating Charlo; he was taking that boy to school. In that fight, and he definitely did more than his fair share of enough to win the fight. And it's unfortunate that he's not gonna get his chance to have his moment in the sun, for his name to go on the record books, for his name to be in the same lineage in Argentinian boxing and boxing itself as undisputed champion. They stole his moment in the sun, all at the expense of a rematch. More money. I mean, it's good for the fighters. The fighters make more money, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not good for the sport of boxing. It's not good for the fans, and it put a damper on what was a good fight. Truthfully, because Castano really should have won this fight, and I look at him as the man of the division. I like Charlo. I'm speaking as somebody who was rooting for Charlo. I'm speaking on somebody who's on a record. You can go back and watch other videos that I've done on this channel. I've said Jermell Charlo is one of my favorite fighters, but he did not win this fight tonight. He left a lot to be desired. And he was, not in control of this fight. Castano controlled the center of the ring for the majority of the fight, for the lion's share of the fight. So, we'll see what happens next. But, the body language after the fight tells all. Castano looked dejected that he couldn't get the decision. Charlo looked happy that he got a draw. And generally speaking, when a fighter is happy that he got a draw, it means deep down he knows that he lost, and he's very fortunate to not have that loss on his record. So Charlo got let off the hook tonight by boxing corruption. I'm not mad about it, because this is what I've come to expect in boxing when it comes to fights of this magnitude. Like I said on my live, and I'll say it here in the video, boxing is like a toxic wife. You can get married to a woman, and she can be toxic, and she can be bad for you, and surely there's things you like about your toxic wife, and there's definitely some things you want to change about your toxic wife. But in order for you to deal with your toxic wife in the best manner and in the best fashion, you must accept her for how she is. And with boxing, I've learned how to accept it for what it is, and it's given me more peace of mind. So it's unfortunate for Castano, but it's what we come to expect in boxing, and hopefully Castano gets the recognition from the fans, and gets the recognition from the people that watch this fight, and from the boxing public, because he deserves the utmost respect for his performance, because he came into this fight outside of the hardcore boxing fans in America. A lot of people didn't know Castano, and even the hardcore boxing fans didn't know Castano, but they damn sure know him now, and they damn sure will know him going forward. So great performance from both fighters. I'm not gonna shit on Castano, and I'm damn sure not gonna shit on Castano. And I'm not going to shit on Charlo, but we are going to shit on his the corruption, this terrible scorecard, because it was wrong, and it's just unfortunate. So that's my thoughts on the fight. A brilliant fight, a great display of pressure fighting and intelligence from Brian Castano. Great adjustments from Charlo down the stretch to make the fight interesting and competitive and captivating. It just was ruined once again by a bad judge, or two bad judges, and they got it wrong tonight. So it is what it is. The 154-pound division remains exciting. It remains a division that is very much has a lot of things happening right now, and we should look forward to upcoming fights. And the rematch will happen. The fighters get paid, and hopefully, somebody will be crowned the undisputed champion, because I at least wanted somebody to be crowned the undisputed champion. We didn't even get that excitement tonight. So fight was great, exceptional, but it was a letdown in that regard. But that's my thoughts on the fight. You guys can leave yours down below. Make sure you take the time to subscribe, like this video, comment, all that good stuff. Share this video. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just here from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.